Hello again, guys. This is a follow-up video on my format. First of all, first big thing, I wanted to change the name from Destiny to Strike. I think Strike resembles it more and is also like a more catchy name. Second big thing, AKAWonder did the first Strike tournament ever, and it was a big success with the players and audiences alike. Everybody just seemed to enjoy playing the format or watching it, and it seems like a more fair way to play Hearthstone. It seems like it's better competition. And we had players like Gara making even spreadsheets that he told me about, and he figured out it's like the best format mathematical wise because it doesn't screw up any player and it offers like a nice variety. Even in a meta where everybody's playing Shaman and Druid on ladder, we still had a tournament winner that didn't even play Shaman. He actually countered Shaman with everything, but we'll get into this later in the video. We had some nice variation, different decks, some crazy strategies. And that's one of the things that you can do while playing 3 decks instead of 4. First of all, I will talk about variations of Strike a bit and how you can play it and what I think is the most optimal way to play Strike if any tournament organizer wants to do Strike tournaments from now on. And then I can talk about some other things that we noticed while having the AKAWonder tournament. So, first variation that I was thinking of to fix possible bad meta games is having 4 decks, 1 ban, and then you play Strike with the remaining 3. Gara, when I suggested this format to be played in AKAWonder's tournament, because I don't really like the current Shaman meta, Gara absolutely said no, and he said that, first of all, a 3-deck format with no class ban resembles ladder better, and at the same time, banning a class just creates a vacuum meta, which is not even that better, and also having to bring 4 classes, you will see way less risky decks like Freeze Mage, because it's way more likely somebody plays Druid plus Warrior if you have to bring 4 than if you have to bring 3. What I'm trying to say is like 3 decks will have more variety than having players to bring 4 decks. 4 decks is also like harder to build and harder to practice. And then you know that you ban 1, so the practice you did on 1 matchup is like eliminated and it's just like a clusterfuck, let's call it like this, excuse the language. But yeah, I ditch that idea, and I think Strike should be played with 3 decks, just striking 2 matchups, each player just strikes or bans, however you want to call it, 2 of the matchups, you play the remaining 5. I think that's like a way better way to play the format. Other variations that you can do is with the bans or with the picks. First of all, what is the best way to ban? In the tournament we use the A banning system. Gara made some math on it, and he said that player A is a bit favored if he has the last ban, and he says the most fair way to do it is player A bans a matchup, player B bans one. Player A bans, player B bans. And then you have player A pick the first matchup, and then the loser pick the remaining, the next matchup, not the remaining one. Yeah, I agree with the order suggested by Gara, and about the pick order, there's 2 ways to do it. First, you let the players pick, like you give player A first pick and then loser second pick and then loser again and so on until you play all 5. Or you just randomize it. And now you'd ask yourself, why would you ever randomize the matchups? I mean, they don't really matter. The order of the 5 matchups doesn't really matter. If you would win 3, no matter how you put these 3, you just win the series. The difference is, do you win it 3-0, 3-1, or 3-2? So obviously for round robin tournaments or Swiss tournaments where the tiebreaker is game score, definitely let the players pick the matchups, because then they can, if they lose 3-2 and they don't lose 3-0 if they get unlucky in this regard, so their game score matters a bit more. What's the advantage of randomizing the matchups? The best advantage, and probably the only one, is that you can give the randomized order to the casters, and the casters will know the upcoming matchups and their order. While if you don't randomize them, they will still know the 5 matchups that will be played, but they will not know the exact order. They can guess which matchup are the players going to pick first, but it's not something exact. So yeah, basically a TLDR or TLDW, too long didn't watch, whatever. Best way that I think Strike should be played in is player A bans a matchup, player B bans a matchup, player A bans a matchup, player B bans a matchup, player A picks the first matchup, loser picks the next matchup, and then so on. Loser picks, loser picks, loser picks, loser picks. That's it. Easy format, if you ask me, is like 3 decks each player. Is not rocket science. You don't need like a nuclear engineering degree to like understand this format or to play it. I think it's way easier to play than Conquest because you have to bring 3 decks and not 4. And also, one thing that I wanted to talk about is that it's way easier in this format to target a class than it is in Conquest, and you also get more rewarded for targeting a class if you target the best class. Like in this tournament, we saw the player who won the tournament targeting Shaman. He didn't expect his opponent to ever strike or ban, however you want to call it, his Shaman matchups. And then he didn't ban the Shaman matchups himself, so basically he has guaranteed that if his opponent brought Shaman, he plays 3 out of the 5 matchups against Shaman. And then he built 3 decks that are favorable against Shaman, and even if he loses one matchup, it's not like in Conquest, the opponent cannot run away with the Shaman, he still has to play the other 2 matchups. But it also gives counterplay to his opponent. If his opponent sees the guy just always destroying Shamans, he can just strike 1 or even 2 of his Shaman matchups to give himself better odds in the overall series if he thinks he will have these better odds while banning these matchups. So, also, as I said, it brings the possibility of bringing decks like Freeze Mage more often, because it's less likely your opponent has Druid and Warrior in his top 3 decks. And not only Freeze Mage is just like a cherry pick example, but they're like more different things. Another issue that has been debunked is like mirror matches being played too much. Actually, mirror matches are played less often than in Conquest. The mirror match is the number of decks from the same classes that both players brought. Like if both players brought Shaman, they have a mirror match. But they also have to not ban the mirror matches. We saw Gara banning the Shaman mirror match, if I'm not wrong, and we saw Freaky banning the Druid mirror match because he chose to bring Khutun Druid and not the normal Druid. So we can see players bringing strategies around banning mirror matches, and this format just offers the tools to the players to make their strategy. Even though it seems very easy to make a 3-deck strategy, if you make a very easy strategy, it's as easy for your opponents to counter that easy strategy. And then you have like some more complex strategies and some easy ones, and you're gonna have like a nice variety in the tournament. Way better variety than you'd have with 4 decks in my opinion. And yeah, I would like to see more Strike tournaments being played. I hope you enjoyed the first tournament. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend watching it. It had some flaws, like we used A, B, B, A pick order, and we just randomized all the matchups to give the casters the matchup order. But I think it's more fair to make it as Gara suggested, and I hope that if tournament organizers want to make tournaments in the future, they're going to use this way to play Strike, and I hope they're going to use Strike more often, because it's a really cool format to play, really cool format to watch. Nobody feels robbed while playing it, like matchup-wise. Again, it doesn't make the better player win 100% of the time, but it gives you more tools. It doesn't screw you up in the deck order, in the deck ordering situation. So if you want to host any Strike tournaments, don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll try to help you as much as I can with organizing it. And yeah, let's make Hearthstone great again with Strike. Yeah, keep striking, and thanks for watching. See you next time.